thanks for tuning into EskimoTV. I'm your host, Jason Escamilla, and today I'm going to be talking about Wonder, a film directed by Chbosky, and is actually based off this novel by R.J. Palacios. I have not read this book yet, but before filming this review, I skimmed through a couple of excerpts in the book, and I have to say that a lot of parts that I read were quite accurately depicted in the movie. And so if I had to guess, I would assume that the movie is a faithful adaptation of the book. Let's go ahead and dive into this review. The film stars Julia Roberts, Owen Wilson, and Jacob Tremblay, and this film is about a young boy named Auggie Pullman who was born with a facial deformation and is starting 5th grade in a school with other kids for the first time after being homeschooled by his mother his whole life. Auggie struggles to make friends and is bullied because of his deformation, and we get to see how this young child handles this conflict and how his parents respond to it. This movie was very emotional for a lot of people. The lady who was in charge of the screening that I went to when I went to go see this film told me prior to going, "You're gonna need a box of tissues. This movie is very sad." And while I did not cry, there were lots of people in my theater that were sobbing because it is sad to see what this kid goes through. And while I did not cry, my feelings were definitely a step in that direction. I don't think that this is just a kid's movie, even though lots of kids are involved. I think this is a good movie for all audiences. We get to see the negative effects that excluding someone who maybe looks different can have, and we also get to see what it feels like for that person. And I thought that the actors were all great in this movie, and particularly Jacob Tremblay as Auggie was a fantastic choice. I had seen Jacob once before in a movie called Room, a movie that came out in 2015 that was outstanding, and Jacob's performance in that movie was stellar. And so to see him perform well again in this film was just an absolute joy, and I definitely think that Jacob Tremblay is a rising star. Julia Roberts and Owen Wilson as Auggie's parents was a great choice too. I really liked the parents. They really communicated a sense of support. They were loving. Owen Wilson is also funny. There's a lot of things that he says that are just very dad-like, and I really enjoyed his performance as well. Most of the kids' performances are really good too, particularly Noah Jupe as Jack Will, Auggie's best friend. And I had seen this actor too once before in Suburbicon that just recently came out with Matt Damon. And the roles are very different, and Noah just does a good job in both of these roles. And so really enjoyed his character. And overall, I felt like the casting was just really solid. There was no one that I felt was doing a poor job, at least glaringly. And overall, this movie doesn't have really any big negatives to mention. There's a subplot with Auggie's sister and her friend that I wouldn't have minded if it was cut from the film, but it was fun to watch. And the book obviously probably talks about that, and so they wanted to be faithful to the book, and so including that was fine. The main bully in this movie, his name is Julian, and it would have been interesting to see a little bit more from his perspective. We learn that he's basically the way that he is because of his parents. There's a scene with his parents where we learn information about them, and it makes us think, oh, that's why Julian is the way that he is. However, the movie progresses in such a way that it shows different characters' names, and after it shows a certain character's names, we get to see a little bit of that character from their perspective following their name showing up on the screen. It's just a black screen with their name. We learn more about them after. And we see this with Auggie, with his sister, with his friend Jack, and I thought it would have been interesting to see from Julian's perspective. He's just this really ugly, rude kid, and I would have liked to see what was going on in his head while he's being the way that he is. Overall, I had a good experience with Wonder. I thought it was a charming movie. I think it'll definitely make a few people cry, and if anything, it'll definitely make you feel some sort of sympathy for this character. And we get to see how people who are different feel as they go about their lives each and every day. I'm gonna give Wonder a solid B. Go see this film when you get the chance. Let me know what you thought in the comments. And as always, if you enjoyed this review, like this video and subscribe to EskimoTV, where you can definitely look forward to more icy and chilly EskimoTV reviews.